anytime you feel fear, just like do it. And whether that's like you're on the street and you see an attractive person that you want to talk to and you don't do it, like you need to condition yourself to go talk to that person. Whether it's someone, an opportunity that comes up. For example, like I was in a recording studio a month and a half ago, and I was in the recording studio, and this multi-platinum producer was like, "Hey, like, can you help us with some lyrics?" And I was like, "Okay." So I wrote the lyrics. He's like, "Can you do them? Can you perform them on this song that we're working on?" I was like helping him with this song, and I hadn't really done like something of that level before, but I saw this like window of opportunity. It was like, here's the fear, like I'm like feeling myself going through it, and it's like it was like I was in a movie, like I could feel like the reality shifting when I stepped through. So started rapping on this track, and now like later, like just 2 days ago, I just like performed, shared the stage with like John Legend, The Roots, Questlove, and like Baja. Like it was amazing, right? And I'm looking back like a month and a half ago. That's random. That's like a random thing that if I wouldn't have taken a step like in that direction to be stepping to the mic and like spitting those lyrics, there's no way that I would have been on stage like in an event that was like 1,000 people at a private gig like in Soho in New York City with like, I mean, in the audience was like the guy that did like every like CNC Music Factory. Like it was blowing my mind, right? And I'm like performing there with amazing people because I stepped through that little window, and actually we crushed it. It was amazing. It was really fun.
Yeah,
So
I think so much of it comes down to that comfort zone. And the beautiful thing about I think about the comfort zone is whatever comfort zone you're at right now. You know, I started off, I think, I was an only child and a single working mom. So, and I was pretty quiet. But, you know, the beautiful thing about the comfort zone is the more you stretch it, the wider it gets. If you stretch it in one area, all of a sudden there's all these other things that you can do. So,
yeah.
so it's not just stretching yourself in entrepreneurship, but it's in every area of your life. And I think, you know, every day there's probably hundreds of opportunities, either socially or at an event or in your business where, you know, we have that voice. Like, I know I should do this, but no, I don't want to do it. And then we make a justification and, you know, 1 second and we justify ourselves out of doing it. But, you know, I think just that one thing alone, anytime you feel fear, just do it. It's not people who do things that are crazy. It's not that they don't necessarily feel fear. It's just that they do it, and we all can do that.
Oh, absolutely. And the cool thing is that like you start to kind of like you start to enjoy it after a while, right? I mean, like I was a skydiver, and one of the cool thing of skydiving is like being scared, like jumping out of the plane. Like that's like the high that you get when you do it, right? And so you can do that every day. There's literally like scan your environment and you'll find something. If you're bored, just be like, what can I do to like that would be really crazy that like would freak people, like just random stuff. And we find ourselves doing this. Like my group of friends, we are like always pushing ourselves to just do like positive things, like just like funny, positive, like social things, like when we're out or like whatever we're doing, just because we want to, you know, it's really just like self amusement, but also like we take amusement like stretching ourselves and like doing things. And I think that you can always find a way to push yourself, like whether it's in the gym, you're working out, you're out with your friends. You know, there's that phone call to that CEO, like, well, the billboard thing. I don't know. We'll talk about that, but like, we can
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. That's something that was again. It was like I had an idea. Should we talk? Should I talk about that now?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Talk about it. I think it's a cool transition.
um, so okay, so one of the things I don't know if we're going to maybe watch a video on this or something in a minute here, but one of the things that I'm really passionate about, probably more passionate than anything right now domestically in the United States, is getting rid of corporal punishment in U.S. schools. And this is basically like in 20 states in the country. It's still, this will blow your mind. You won't believe me. You'll go Google it and you'll be like shocked. This goes on in 20 states. It's still legal to take a belt or like a board and like hit kids in school, like 6-year-old, like middle school kids, like legal to hit them. Like this blows my mind. This is still going on. We're the only developed country in the world where this happens. It's crazy. We're getting more. Like, there's a lot more going on there. Anyway, I've been on this crusade to like get this piece of our human rights portfolio as a country like locked down so that we can join the rest of the developed world. Like literally, there's no other countries in the developed world that still use this. We're like the last one, and like like so crazy. I'm like, we're gonna make this happen. So I had this idea to that I needed to create a big media event around corporal punishment because no one's really talking about it in the media. I mean, I've been writing for Huffington Post about it. I did a thing on Fox like a couple times like this summer, but it's not at the level of like where I want to be. Like people need to be really, really like freaking out that 250,000 kids a year are getting hit at least once, like by their teachers and principals. Like they need to be like really, really shocked and outraged that every 20 seconds in a school day, kids getting hit, that 20,000 kids are getting hospitalized a year as a result of this. So, like, what can we do? So I said, all right, I think it would be amazing if I could draw a contrast between the fact that in the U.S. prison system, it's illegal to hit like convicted murderers and like felons, right? Like illegal to hit them. Fully can't like. Not saying it doesn't happen in some instances, like illegally, but like legally, like the law is very clear. It's illegal to hit a prisoner, like in a federal prison. I thought it'd be interesting to contrast that with the fact that if you're a 6-year-old girl in Texas and you forget a pencil to class, there's nothing in the law that says you cannot like hit that girl with a board to the point where she's like bruised. Like that blows my mind, right? So the idea was I wanted to get a billboard in Times Square and construct a jail cell on the billboard. The idea being that this would be like the billboard is something along the lines of corporal punishment is illegal in U.S. prisons. Why is it still legal to hit kids in U.S. public schools? With a real live, like an 8x8 jail cell, just bars, plexiglass bottoms, people can see into it. And I wanted to live in this billboard for 30 days. And so that was the idea. I thought if I do this, everybody will talk about it. It'll be a massive way to get awareness around this issue, right? This is like putting yourself on the line for what you believe in. And I was like, how am I going to do this, right? So through my network, I set up a meeting with and I maybe I shouldn't say who yet because it's still actually kind of like under wraps, like we're still kind of working stuff out. So I set up a meeting with the billboard company in New York, and it was pretty amazing. I went in and like I set up a lunch with this guy, and I went in and I was like nervous. I was walking into the meeting, and I remember thinking in my head that when I first got to New York City, I saw this billboard for like Puff Daddy, like in Times Square, and I turned to my brother and I was like, someday I will be on a billboard in Times Square, and and I'm going into this meeting like, is this really going on? Like, if this happens, like this is just a crazy situation. So within like 5 minutes, I'm telling the founder of this company about like what's going on in schools and like what I want to do, and he's like, cool, like we have a billboard like literally right in Times Square. We're gonna give it to you. Like we're just gonna give it to you. Like no, like we're just giving you this billboard. There's some other costs you'll have to deal with. Like you'll have to figure out how to get it built. You have to figure out how to get it installed. But the billboard is yours if you want it. So I literally just scored like $100,000 billboard in Times Square. And it's pretty crazy. Like we're still
so
making.
it's definitely gonna. It looks like it's almost definitely gonna happen. Cross
So
your
we got
fingers.
fingers crossed.